Hey everyone, this is Vin Robinson coming to you from Superstar Sports, located on Portage Avenue in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Today we have a terrific show coming your way. Not only was it just All-Star Weekend for the NHL that just passed, but upcoming is Super Bowl weekend. The reason why this is so awesome is because one of our interviews is actually with two-time champion Charles Farms from the Miami Hurricane. So stay tuned. We're going to have a great interview with him talking about his relationship with Jimmy Johnson being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Definitely footage that you don't want to miss. Stay tuned. You're watching the Coast to Coast Sports Show. Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Vin Robinson with the Coast to Coast Sports Show. I promised you last week that we're going to be doing things that are a little bit different on the program week after week. And this week has to be one of the most special episodes that we're coming with in a very long time. I happen to have a very good friend of mine here today. His name is Charles Farms III, and he's got a great connection to football with his days that he's played from amateur to professional. And we're going to take our time to get reacquainted with Charles Farms today. Charles, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Not too bad. I'm sure that where you are is probably a little bit warmer than where I am.
Most definitely. I'm down here in Houston, Texas, and I know from being up in Canada myself, beautiful country, but I know this time of year it's definitely cold.
Oh, that's for sure. Tell me, how's things down in Houston? What's going on down there? What's happening?
I mean, right now, of course, with the recruiting of high school football and everything, a lot of talented young men are getting ready to decide where they're going to go on and get scholarships and play football. We're a little bit disappointed, of course, because of the Texans and not being in the Super Bowl. But, of course, next week, with it being the Super Bowl, people are getting ready for that. And today was the Pro Bowl. So, people are just transitioning from football to also the Rockets. And looking forward to the Rockets having a really good season this year.
Yeah, sport has definitely been on the high side in the Houston area. I guess, one of the things that I found very special when we're talking about football in the past couple of weeks is an inductee getting into the Hall of Fame, a coach by the name of Jimmy Johnson. You have a strong connection with Jimmy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with him?
Jimmy Johnson is a great coach. He's a great man. Jimmy recruited me coming out of high school. So I know him personally. He did coach me. I was blessed that Jimmy recruited me and I had a chance to get a scholarship and to play at the University of Miami and also get a chance to get a great education. So Jimmy is he's a special man. He's a special man. He helps you to be a better man. I mean, Jimmy comes at you with no. Jimmy, let's say he's real. I mean, he's going to make you work hard. The coaches are going to work hard to get you prepared, and it makes you not only better for the sport or football, but it makes you better for life. Jimmy had a few things that he helped put in our minds. We had a few things outside of the locker room that helped us. One of the things, all it takes is all you got. and another one was attitude plus effort equals performance. So I was blessed to be able to be around Jimmy Johnson, and he's still a person to where I see him, he comes up, he speaks, and we have conversation.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really a football family for life when you think about it. But kind of what you guys created down there is a culture, and I'm hard pressed to even say that there's a lot of NFL teams that was as talented as those championship teams out of Miami. So talk to me a little bit about that and the stigma that still remains with it years after the championship days.
I mean, in Miami, I mean, we had a lot of great athletes. It was a lot of great players that loved the game of football. But the way we came at each other, the way we practiced hard. We came at each other, and it made us better for the games. We were actually to where practices were harder than the games. We used to call games, say the games were like payday. That was the easy part of it. But it made us better. We weren't, nice to each other where we were, let's say, just being soft. It was about an attitude. It was about a pride. It was about winning. And that helped us be better. It made us stronger. And it's a brotherhood. It is a brotherhood. And you can't go out there seeing your brother giving his all, and you're not going to give it your all. So, I mean, it made us better. And it made us very, very united. And united we stand, and we were ready to stand for anything. And we didn't really care. We had that bad boy stigma that was put up on us, but we didn't care because the way we looked at it, and the way I always say is football is organized violence.
Hmm. There's actually a stunning stat that I was dumbfounded by. And looking at this stat, I realized that probably about 80% of NFL players happen to come out of the Florida area. And, some are made up out of Texas and sprinkled all the rest throughout the U.S. and parts of Canada that they come from. But can you touch a little bit on that? Why is Florida such a melting pot for the sport of football?
Well, first of all, it's a sunshiny state. I mean, the average year-round temperature in Florida is like 72 degrees. People love football. I mean, here in the United States, there's really three top states for football players, especially skilled athletes, are Florida, Texas, and California. I mean, because you have football, you have track. And I know here in the state of Texas, they pay a lot of money for different stadiums. You'd be surprised at some of the high schools and what facilities they have. A lot of high schools here have their stadiums, which are turf stadiums, right there on campus. And in Florida, I mean, you have the perfect areas. I mean, you could know when you say hit the beach, we have training to where athletes are running in the sand to be faster, to be stronger. So, I mean, Florida's just it's a melting pot, and it's a great place for football.
Right, right. Um, so, you touched upon it. You talked about the training facilities, the professional aspect, and that's going to kind of segue into this next question, which is, how is training and preparation today different than the yesteryear? That preparation, how do you approach it versus, I guess, some of the talent that's coming through today?
I think now, I mean, you have a lot of different facilities now for kids. You have a lot of different trainers. I mean, I try to mentor and train kids that want to train and want to work hard. So, I mean, you have the modern technology. You have all the different training facilities. Now there's a lot of different techniques that weren't learned back then. It was more so old school. Now they have that opportunity. But the thing about it is now, do the kids really want to work as hard as we used to work? I mean, we used to run hills, which made us stronger and made us faster. But it's according to do the kids want to put in the work these days. We knew we had to put in the work.
Are you type of guy that likes to push it to the max? See how fast it'll go? How high it'll jump? Are you tired of buying that box store junk that always ends up breaking, leaving you in the dust, sad because it didn't perform the way you wanted it to? Why not come to Eliminator RC where you can buy yourself a hobby-grade RC that you can replace all the parts, have fun with, and it does what you want it to. Come down and check us out. e-rc.ca or 120 Higgins Avenue in Winnipeg. 947-2865.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our show. Nothing says cheer like cheerleaders, so make sure to check out this next clip to keep you in a great mood. Some of those training sessions and film and ways to prepare back in the day, it's a little bit easier to see the X's and O's today than a couple of years ago, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's so true. I mean, it would, I don't even know, the way I look at it now is what we would have had or how even it would have been if we would have had all the different stuff that they have now as far as video and whatnot. For us, it was just old school film, which you filmed all the practices, and you looked at the film after your practices. But like I said, it's all about the heart. You have to want to do it. That's another thing we had at the University of Miami in the training room. If you were there taking care of injuries or you were just getting taped up or anything like that, we had a saying that was right there that was painted on the wall, and it asked you a question: what have you done today to help the Miami Hurricanes be successful tomorrow? But that's also a self-evaluation, because you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can ask yourself, what have I done today to help myself be successful tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what you're talking about there is internalization. So, Charles, come on. I mean, as athletes, we all know that we had that one or two songs that we have in that track that's pumping us up, just before a game. So tell me, what would you listen to to get you amped up?
Well, for me, it was old school for me. So one of the greatest songs that came out was I was a fan of back with the rap game and everything, Eric B and Rakim. And one of the questions, how could I move the crowd? First of all, there's no mistakes allowed. When me playing defensive back, playing free safety, you know any mistake could cause a touchdown. So you have to be prepared. Another one, of course, was I ain't no joke. You know, so that's a confidence builder to where those were songs we listened to. Of course, we were really big with a 2 Live Crew and everything like that. Uncle Luke. If it was a night game, especially if we were playing Notre Dame or we were playing also Florida State, something like that, one of our rivalries, it could be Phil Collins. I Can Feel It in the Air Tonight, which is one of the greatest songs ever. So it was a diverse kind of video or recordings that I would listen to, and we all might be listening to in the locker room. But I would say Eric B and Rakim were those songs were ones that I really would listen to would get me hyped and get me ready to play.
And it must have done something really well because, I mean, it took you all the way to a professional career in the NFL. Tell me a little bit about that and how it compared to the CFL, which is really, I guess, on the tail end of how I met you.
Actually, by me leaving high school, and like I said, I played here in Texas, which, I mean, in the city of Houston, we had a lot of competition. I was one of high schools with another high school to where we played in games during the regular season and in the playoffs to where there was no room in the stadium. I mean, the stadium was totally crowded. And then going on to the University of Miami, when you're playing around great athletes, I mean, I'm stepping up with Jerome Brown, God rest his soul, played with the Eagles. He's a great athlete. Alonzo Highsmith, who's like a big brother to me, who's now the VP, Vice President of Player Personnel with the Cleveland Browns. And also Vinny Testaverde, who won the Heisman then, and great Michael Irvin, who's in the Hall of Fame. Russell Maryland, who's the #1 pick, and also Cortez Kennedy, who's in the Hall of Fame. So Benny Blades. I was around a lot of different people that made me want to be even better, and you had to be better. So that helped me as far as in my professional career. And then when I did go into the pros, I actually played for the Houston Oilers first of all, and Warren Moon, who you know, of course, played with Edmonton, great player in the CFL, historical career, and a great player, a great man. So that helped me out a lot. And then I went on from the Houston Oilers and I played with the Miami Dolphins for a short period of time. And with there, you had Dan Marino, great quarterback. You had Mark Duper and you had Clayton, two of the greatest receivers, and that whole dynamic. And then I was with Kansas City in the offseason, and then I was there for the start of the year. I got released, though. But that's when Joe Montana was there. So, I mean, I had a chance to play against some great players, some Hall of Fame players. And then when I went into the CFL, it was a little bit different. The practices weren't necessarily as hard, and necessarily the talent of the people that you had around you weren't the same. And you played games at different times during the week, so that was a little bit different. You didn't have as big of a roster in the CFL. I think it's only 37 men to where you got a 53-man roster in the NFL. So it was different. I mean, of course, in the NFL, there's just more money. It's a lot bigger stage in the NFL, but also, especially me playing defensive back, I mean, you had to be ready in the CFL. You had to be ready to run. Because at first I had to adjust to receivers being able to run before the ball is snapped, and the field being a lot bigger and wider. So I mean, your coverage skills had to be adjusted because the receiver had a lot more room to run. And I think now a lot of what you see in the NFL as far as these passing offenses, the CFL has always been mostly a passing league. So, and a lot of that partially, I would think, ended up coming from Canada. And now people like scoring a lot of points. I mean, the CFL, a lot of points are put on the board. I mean, I'm going to go downfield and score. You come back and you can score if you can. And it was great, though, playing in the CFL. And also with the NFL, that was a dream. And I had a chance to play around a lot of very dynamic people and great legends of the game. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, Charles, we want to definitely continue to keep this going with you. Throughout all the years that I've known you, you've been a terrific motivator, terrific person, both on and off the field. So thank you for taking the time today to connect with us, share our experience, your experience with Jimmy with us. It truly means a lot to us here on Coast to Coast Sports, and we hope to get you back on the air sometime very soon.
Thank you so much for having me, and I would love to do that. Any way that I can help out, be a part of it. Like I said, I am moving forward to try to help as far as our youth and others, as far as mentoring and doing motivational speaking, and to help try to move young people into going after their dreams, and also to help as far as families. If it's a way that you can play a sport or perform something the way you can get a scholarship and you can get a free education, I mean that's a great deal, because it's one thing we always say: you can get hurt in sports or something, but education can never be taken away from you. So thanks for having me on, and I look forward to helping out or being as assistance and whatnot in any way that I can.
Charles, once again, I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Farms III. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Real Talk. Time stands still for no one. What happened this past weekend is a tragedy and has shocked the sports world. A lot of us can relate to what took place for the actions of just being a parent and how that relates to their child. Nevertheless, it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for us to approach things and take things extremely serious, so that when we take on a responsibility, we follow through to do it to the best of our ability. Don't procrastinate. Be the best at your craft. The reason why we wanted to bring this show to you from a collectible sports shop today is because of the memories that are created when these athletes go out and put it all out there for us to enjoy. Right now is an opportunity for us to not just to remember the sorrows, but to also celebrate and move forward with the great highlights and memories that were created. So I want you to leave you with that, and catch you next time on the Coast to Coast Sports Show. Hey everyone, welcome back. Vin Robinson here with another Coast to Coast Sports moment. What we're doing today is we're going to take an opportunity to bust the myth. And what the myth is that it's extremely difficult to go from the amateur ranks to the professional. But all we ever really needed was the pathway to get there. And here it is. If you want to take that opportunity to see how you could knock at the door and get to the next level, simply log on to cataprep.com. It will give you all the information that you need. See you in March. The big cheat. That's right. You've been working out all week, eating right. But today is your day. A day for a cheat meal. What will you indulge in?